Welcome to Vedic Mathematics Basis Base Values classes. Today we are taking up a concept of attainment reach. Up till now we have been exposed to the concept of structural keys. We can recapitulate that Ganita Sutra 1, Ekadhikain Purve, is the source sutra. It is a scripture of 16 letters. Each letter has its transcendental code value of the range 6-4, reaching up till 1. These transcendental code values take us to the parallel geometric formats. These values and geometric formats make the structural keys. First letter A of TCV value 6 and parallel geometric format of 6 space makes the structural key of Ganita Sutra 1 itself. Second letter Ka of value 4, parallel geometric format of 4 space makes the structural key of the second Ganita Sutra. Like that, sequentially we reach at the structural keys of the entire range of 16 Ganita Sutras. Ekadhikain Purve is the first Ganita Sutra with the structural key 6. Second Ganita Sutra is Nikhlim Navasta Charma Madashata. Its structural key is 4. Third, Udharvatiriyek Bhyam is the third Ganita Sutra with structural key 2. Like that, sequentially, the 16 letters of Ganita Sutra 1 lead us to the structural keys of Ganita Sutras 1 to Ganita Sutra 16. Today we are going to be exposed to another concept of attainment reach. What is the attainment reach of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1? For it also we are having the value 6. The first letter A gives us the structural key of Ganita Sutra 1, and simultaneously this letter C, 6, value 6, also gives us the attainment reach. The attainment reach of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1 is also 6 space. It is value 6, which is the structural key of the first Ganita Sutra. The value 6 is also the attainment reach of Ganita Sutra 1. However, when we reach second Ganita Sutra, its structural key is value 4. Value 4, 4 space, is the value of the structural key of the second Ganita Sutra. However, the attainment reach of the second Ganita Sutra is its first letter, which is Na, and it is of value 8. Let us make an entry in our TCV dictionary that these Ganita Sutras are having structural keys as well as attain and reachment values and formats. Each of the 16 Ganita Sutras is having a structural key as well as the attainment reach. The attainment reach of Ganita Sutra 1 is 6 and a structural key of Ganita Sutra 1 as well as 6. However, the attainment reach of Ganita Sutra 2 is 8 and the structural key is 4. The structural key of second Ganita Sutra is determined by the second letter of Ganita Sutra 1. The attainment reach of Ganita Sutra 2 is reached by the first letter of the text. Like that, when we are reaching the third Ganita Sutra, its structural key will be determined by the third letter of Ganita Sutra 1, leading us the value 2. However, the attainment reach of this Ganita Sutra is as per its first letter. Here we are having a tabulation. Let us reproduce this tabulation in our TCV dictionary. This the first row is the sutra. Sutra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and up till 6. The second row is of the structural keys. Ganita Sutra 1 is having a structural key of value 6. Sutra 2 is having structural key of value 4. Sutra 3 is having structural key of value 2. And like that, we reach at value 1 of the structural key of the 16 Ganita Sutras. The third row is the row of the attainment reach values. The mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1 with structural key 6 is giving us a reach of value 6 itself. Therefore, Ganita Sutra 1 is having structural key 6, and the attainment reach is also 6. However, the Ganita Sutra 2 is having a structural key value 4, but its attainment reach value is 8. A step ahead, Ganita Sutra 3 is having a structural key value 2, while its attainment reach value is 6. We can have a pause here, that here this first letter U is in an elongated form. It is an elongated form of the third vowel. As such, its structural key also simultaneously takes us to the attainment reach of value 3, which goes ultimately to value 6. We can have a pause here and take note that 3-space domain dimensional frame as such is a synthetic setup of a pair of 3-dimensional frames of half dimensions. Therefore, the value 3 takes us as its reflection image to value 6. If we are within 4 space, then we will be having a pair of 3-dimensional frames of half dimension. There will be a split of the 3-dimensional frame of full dimensions into this. We will coming to these details. We will be working out these details. We will be changing these details subsequently. Here for the present, in the TCB dictionary, one shall make a tabulation that Ganita Sutra 1 is having a structural key 6 and its attainment reach is also 6. That is, the Ganita Sutra 1 mathematics can be decoded, or it unfolds itself in terms of 6-space domain, and the reach of this mathematical domain also is a 6-space, which is a parallel to the sun, and it is also parallel to a Purusha. Therefore, we will be reaching here simultaneously in different way as its applied values. We will coming to these details also subsequently. Ganita Sutra 2 is having a structural key 4 and its attainment reach is 8. Ganita Sutra 3 is having a structural key 2 and its attainment reach is 3, which also ultimately transforms into 6. This Ganita Sutra 4 is having a structural key 7 and its attainment reach is 5. 5 is having a structural key 2 and its attainment reach is also 2. One can have a pause here and take note that at Ganita Sutra 1 we were having the same values for the structural key as well as for the attainment reach. Here at 5th Sutra as well, the structural key and the attainment reach value as well is equal. It is equal to 2. A step ahead, the Ganita Sutra 6 gives us a structural key value 4 and its attainment value is 2. Step ahead, Sutra 7 gives us a structural key 6 and its attainment value is 3. The 8th Sutra is giving us a structural key as 8 and its attainment value is 5. Ganita Sutra 9 is having a structural key as 1 and its attainment value is 2. Ganita Sutra 10 is having structural key as 5 and its attainment value is 1. Ganita Sutra 11 is having structural key as 6 and attainment value is 7. Ganita Sutra 12 is having a structural key as 3 and its attainment value is 2. Ganita Sutra 30 is having a structural key as 7 and its attainment value is 3. Ganita Sutra 14 is having structural key value as 6 and its attainment value as well is 6. Ganita Sutra 1 is having structural key 6 and attainment value 6. Ganita Sutra 5 is having a structural key 2 and its attainment value is 2. Ganita Sutra 14 is having structural key 6 and its attainment value is 6. This step ahead, Ganita Sutra 15 is having a structural key 7 our attainment value is 3, while Ganita Sutra structural key is 1 and its attainment value is 3. Students, sadhakas shall make a specific entry that for proper initiation in the systems, Vedic mathematical systems, we have to first of all have a recapitulation of the text of the Ganita Sutras 1 to 16. One shall memorize this text. This is a small text of 16 hymns, 16 sutras, running over total 519 letters. First step of proper initiation in the Vedic mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras is that one shall, with a few recitations, memorize this text. Memorizing this text will help to work out everything as a mental mathematics. Ganita Sutras mathematics is a mental mathematics. It is a mental mathematics as the entire text of Ganita Sutras can be memorized just in a few recitations. Therefore, in a few recitations, when we will be remembering this, when we will be having everything printed in our mind, then first step, the second step which we have to do is that we have to reach letter by letter the text of Ganita Sutra 1. This text is of 40 letters composition. These are 14 processing steps. These 14 processing steps, when we are taken to the transcendental code values, these will provide us the structural keys. Therefore, the first thing to be reached at by the students of Vedic mathematics is to memorize the text and then to reach at the structural keys of the 16 Ganita Sutras. These structural keys of Ganita Sutras are in fact the transcendental code values of the letters of Ganita Sutra 1. Therefore, the first thing to be reached at is the structural keys of the 16 Ganita Sutras. These structural keys are the transcendental code values of the letters A to A. These 16 letters A to A, these 16 letters are having transcendental code values 6 to 1, and these transcendental code values make the structural keys of 16 Ganita Sutras. In this table, we should draw specifically, very specifically, a step-by-step, precisely this tabulation with the first row as the numbers of the sutras and the second row as the transcendental code values, the letters which become the structural keys. So first row be designated as sutras row and second row be designated as structural keys row. Third row is going to be the attainment reach. The mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1 with its structural key 6 is also having its attainment value 6. The first letter as such of each Ganita Sutra gives the attainment reach. The attainment reach of Ganita Sutra 1 is in terms of the first letter, which is of value 6. The second sutra with its first letter Na of value 8 gives the attainment reach. The attainment reach of mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 2 is parallel to the transcendental code value of the first letter Na, which comes to be 8. If we have to see what is the attainment reach of 8th Ganita Sutra, then we'll point out its first letter, which is Pa, then its TCV value, which is 5, and so we will say that the attainment reach of 8th Ganita Sutra is 5, a 5-space domain. However, the structural key of the 8th Ganita Sutra is going to be 8, as the 8th letter of the 8th letter of the text of Ganita Sutra 1 is Na. This Na is having value 8. Therefore, the 8th Ganita Sutra is having its transcendental code value is 8 for the first letter. So it becomes the reach of the value. No, it is this reach of the value of the 8th Ganita Sutra. Here, let's correct it. It is going to be 8. The reach, therefore, of the 8th Ganita Sutra as the transcendental code value is 8, and its attainment reach as well is 8. Now, like that, when we will be memorizing the text of the Ganita Sutras, then simultaneously we will be having a well acquaintance of the level of memorization that the second row also can be mentally written. We can write the second row of this tabulation as per the transcendental code values of the letters of the Ganita Sutra 1. The third row can be tabulated by writing the transcendental code values of the first letters of the text of the 16 Ganita Sutras. Therefore, the reach of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras is going to be a very rich, very formed, very dense, and very exhaustive, covering the solar universe and even beyond what is which makes this solar universe itself as well. Though solar universe is being reached as a organization of 6-space hypercube 6 format. From hypercube 6 format, we will be working out the Brahman domain. We will be reaching a nature. Here, when we will learning that synthesis of the dimensions 6 and 6 says it will give us value 8. We will be learning it. We will be reaching at this stage that the synthesis of the dimensional frames is the main reach of the Vedic mathematics. The modern systems as such are not dealing with the synthesis and split of the dimensional frames. However, the Vedic mathematics in fact is beginning its reach, is giving a glimpse of its attainability only in terms of the phenomenon of synthesis and split of the dimensional frames. This phenomenon is a very big phenomenon. It is the mathematical domain for which the modern thinkers, modern mathematicians, the present systems have yet to conceive. The modern system, the modern mind, the mental state of the axioms and postulates of the present day mathematics as it is has yet not been exposed to, have yet not conceived as that the dimensional frames also get synthesized. Like one space in the role of dimension creates 3 space as a domain, and within a 3-dimensional frame which accepts a split as a pair of 3-dimensional frames of half dimensions, and the origin here is of a spatial order. We will be coming to all these aspects. Actually, for these very aspects, it is for this very mathematics, it is for this very mathematics that we are laying the foundations. The foundations of the Vedic mathematics as such are that there is a Devanagari alphabet format. This alphabet format is having a specific organization features. It attaches a specific value to each of the letters, and these values attached to the individual letters are designated as the transcendental code values. We will be coming to these details as well, that why these values are being designated as transcendental code values, as the transcendental word is in fact attached to the 5-space domain. The manifestation word is attached to the creation within 4 space. Therefore, the 4-space format, parallel to the features of the idol of the Lord Brahma, gives us manifestations, 4-fold manifestation. However, a step ahead, when we can transcend through these manifested creations, we reach a transcendental format. It is a 5-space, it is a 5-fold format. When we are reaching that, the values, the arithmetic values, the whole number values of 5-space domain will be the transcendental values. We will be coming to these details, but for the present, that the students, the sadhakas of Vedic mathematics shall, as a first step, acquaint themselves well with the Devanagari alphabet format. The organization of Devanagari alpha format, grouping its letters, 9 letters as vowels, 25 letters as Varga consonants, 4 letters as Anthastha letters, 4 letters as Vishmana letters, and 8 letters as the Yama letters. And then the values attached with them and parallel geometric formats to them. And as per the positions of these letters, we will be having the further processing steps. We will coming to these aspects of Devanagari alphabet subsequently when we will be actually working out the mathematical details of Vedic mathematics. So first step to be learned is all about Devanagari alphabet. The second step, learning step, is to learn all about the text of the Ganita Sutras, these 16 Ganita Sutras, and these 16 Ganita Sutras are to be memorized. And then once we memorize these sutras, then as per the transcendental code values of the individual letters of Devanagari alphabet, we reach at 2 features. The first feature is of the 16 letters of the text of Ganita Sutra 1. These 16 letters with their transcendental code values as such become the preservers, the source of the structural keys of Ganita Sutras 1 to 16. The second aspect to be learned well, to be acquainted well, to be imbibed well, to have it with proper insight and with appropriate enlightenment is about the attainment reach. Nature of the question would be that mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1 of structural key is having a certain attainment reach. What is this attainment reach? Where this mathematical domain will take us to, how far we will be reaching, how far we can be calculating, how far we will be attaining, what would be the applied values. And for these we reach at the attainment reach values. The attainment reach values are given here in the third row. This third row in fact is the row of the first letters of these Ganita Sutras. The first letters of these Ganita Sutras make the values of attainments. However, the first letters of the Ganita Sutra 1 itself give us the structural keys. Therefore, we have to learn Devanagari alphabet, the transcendental code values of these alphabet letters. Then we have to memorize the text of Ganita Sutras. Thereafter, we have to reach at the row range of the 16 letters of Ganita Sutra 1 and its transcendental code values as the structural keys. So the third step we have to learn, we have to acquire well, we have to be acquainted well is about the attainment reach values. These attainment reach values are the row, the range, array of the transcendental code values of the first letters of these Ganita Sutras. Once we are having the range and row of the text of Ganita Sutra 1, which provides us the structural keys of Ganita Sutras 1 to 16, and followed by it, once we are having array and row of the range of the first letters of these Ganita Sutras, then their transcendental code values will be providing us the attainment reach values. Once these 3 steps are crossed, first step is to reach at the transcendental code values Devanagari alphabet letters. The second phase is to reach at the transcendental code values of the letters of Ganita Sutra 1. The third step is to reach at the transcendental code values of the first letters of 16 Ganita Sutras. Once these 3 steps are reached at, then we can draw this table. Once this tabulation is with us, and once we are knowing consciously, we are conscious enough, we are acquainted well, then in terms of these values, we will be reaching at the geometric formats. Once we will be reaching at the geometric formats, then we will be associating them with the Sthapatya miring rod. We will be fixing them that where these values and parallel geometric formats of structural keys and attainment values actually fix us on the Sthapatya miring rod. Once we will be fixed on this Thapatya-Meiring rod, then really we will be at a stage from where we will be starting working the mathematical domains of the Ganita Sutras. The mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras, as is evident, as is apparently, it is going to be a very rich and very wide range of mathematical domain. It is a very wide range, it is a very big range, therefore we have to go slow, we have to go step by step. And this processing, that how we have to proceed further, for it as well, we have to go back to the Ganita Sutras, and the Ganita Sutra 1 will be the starting point, which gives us a meaning one more than before. One more than before, a sequential progression. Ganita Sutra 1 gives us the working rule, embeds a processing step, that we have to go step by step, one step at a time, one step more than the step already attained. This sequential progression is the progression which is called Kramsha. Kramsha. If we attach the values to it, it takes the values 13 plus 3, 16. Kram is of transcendental code value 13 and Kramsha is of transcendental code value 16. The Ganita Sutras 16 and Ganita Upsutras 13 together come within the formulation Kramsha, which means these have to be sequentially approached. These are stitched sequentially. These are knotted sequentially. The flow of the values within these formatted organization is also of sequential steps. And then ultimate value which we reach at is a Kram Samapti. Kram Samapti means the end reach of the sequence. All sequence of sequences will be having an end reach, including the end of the ends. Therefore, this is a value 13 and here is a value 26. If 13 is taken as the one additional edge, then here we will be having a pair of edges. It will be making us Sha, Karam Sha. Therefore, two basic formulations of the working steps of the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras are Kramsha and Kram Samapti. When we will be comprehending, when we will be well acquainted, when we will be appreciating, when we will be imbibing, when we will be having insight about this pair of formulations, then we can say that we stand initiated for working with the mathematical domain in terms of the mathematical systems of Ganita Sutras. Let us now make an entry in our TCV dictionary as that the processing steps of the Ganita Sutras begin with the first Ganita Sutra, Eka Adhikain Purve. Eka Adhikain Purve. This is the previous and it will be subsequent. But if we proceed from here, it will be a previous and it would be a subsequent. Therefore, 1 is subsequent to its previous 0. This sutra, while it takes us from 1 to 1 plus 1, it also takes us from 1 to 0. Like that, the sequences, the Kram sequence is to be Sha, which is of value 1 and 2. So 2 as 1 and 1 as 2, it takes us to 4 space. It takes us to spatial order. It takes us to 2 space as a dimension. And within 2 space, we can have first step as a line and second step as a square. in one outside to different lines, making us a different format. Therefore, the first formulations we have to comprehend, we have to imbibe, we have to incite is Kramsha. The second is Kram Samapti, the end of these sequences, even end of a sequence. So end of the end is the comprehension, and the Yoga Darshan, Patanjali Yoga Darshan, subsequently for its attainment reach of Kaivalya as the Kram Samapti. It is that the linear order extinguishes itself and gives place to spatial order. Spatial order extinguishes itself and gives place to solid order, and so on. These are the features of the processing steps of the mathematics of Ganita Sutras. Therefore, we shall first acquaint ourselves well with the Devanagari alphabet, then we shall acquaint ourselves well with the text of Ganita Sutras, and thereafter we shall reach at the structural keys, values of the Ganita Sutras, and as next step we shall reach at the attainment value sequence of the Ganita Sutras. With the structural keys and with the attainment values, we will be having a comprehensive view of the mathematical domains. Once we will be having a view of the mathematical domains, then we shall be entering upon the chase steps, the processing steps with which these mathematical domains are to be worked, these are to be fathomed, these are to be entered into, and these are to be glimpsed. And in terms thereof, we have to understand, we have to have an insight, we have to have an enlightenment about the existence phenomena of the sun itself, as well as the existence phenomena of the human beings. And then we should be learning that value 16 as 16 letters of Ganita Sutra 1 is the TCV value of G, being, and value 28, the number of letters of Ganita Sutra 2 is Brahm. The Jeev, beings, and Brahm. Like that, we will be sequentially progressing, we shall be sequentially attaining, we shall be sequentially having an enlightenment, we will be knowing ourselves. From this stage, when we will start knowing ourselves, we shall be appreciating what is the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutras, where Ganita Sutras are ultimately taking us to. It is going to be as per the order of the Vedas themselves, as per the Vedic Samhitas. Then we will be appreciating Vedic terminology. Then we will be appreciating that each and every formulation availing Devanagari alphabets, making part of the Samhitas, are the mathematical formulations. These mathematical formulations, each and every letter, each and every combination of letters, each and every word, each and every pada, each and every shabd is mathematical formulation of the Ganita Sutras setup. Therefore, Ganita Sutras is a very big domain. Let us approach it as it deserves, with all transcendental sanctity. One shall daily sit comfortably, put and expose oneself to the text organization features of Ganita Sutras. We will be proceeding, picking up this thread from this step onwards. Welcome to the next class. Thank you very much.